Hi everybody. So today I want to talk about a little experiment I've been working on lately. So Meteor makes things really easy for us, but I'm always thinking about ways to make it even easier. Right? It's like the 80-20% rule. 80% of the time you only need 20% of the features. So how can we make this 20% even easier to use? And today, more specifically, I want to talk about publications. So let's look at the data that's being published here for this example to-do app. So if we look at tasks, there are 4 tasks. And users, there's 1 user, me. You can see here that there's another user available in the database, Arunoda, but he's not being published because the username property has been denormalized on the task right here. So let's take a little look at the code here. So what I did is I added this package, Smart Collections, and you're gonna see what it does very soon. So the first thing I'm gonna do is remove the publication for tasks. I'm gonna comment it out, go back to my app, and as expected, all our data is gone. So tasks are gone. User is still here because the current user always gets published by default. Okay, that's what we expected. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is actually I created this collections file here, and I created schemas for the tasks and users. And these schemas have a special property which is public and can be true or false. And it basically indicates which fields are going to be published. So in this case, I'm going to set the username field to false. Finally, to actually publish the collection, I'm not going to use meteor.publish. I'm going to use a special method I created on the collection object, collection prototype. So I'm going to call tasks.publish and then the name of the publication, which is the same name, so it will subscribe as it did before. But this special publication is actually a smart publication which will look up the schema and publish the relevant data. So as you can see, our tasks are back. Now, as you just saw, we marked the username field of each task as public false, so it's not being published, right? It's not in here, which is why it doesn't appear in the UI. Now, we could mark it as public true, but I want to show you something else that is actually pretty cool. So we're going to undo the denormalization, and rather than stick the username field on the task, we're gonna publish the relevant user object and then query the username field inside the user. So right now we only have 1 user, me, but we also want Arunoda, right? So, one thing we could do is just create another publication for users. But what's really cool is that smart publications support joins. So we're just gonna add a join field here on the owner and then tell it in which collection it's supposed to look up that owner. So meteor.users might not be defined when this runs, so rather than just have it here, we're providing a function that returns the collection. So we're going to do this. We're gonna save. The other thing I'm gonna do is right here, I'm gonna look up the username, or rather the user, using the task.owner property and get Meteor data so that I can reference it right here. So instead of looking for the username field in task, I'm gonna look for it in this data.owner. So there you go, our usernames are back. And if we check our schema, first the tasks, You can see the username is not being published as part of the task, but if we do check users, you can see that we have 2 users. So with a single line of code right here and a schema, we're able to first of all control which fields are published or not, and then even publish related collections, all from a simple schema. So I think that's pretty cool, and that's the Smart Publications package.